Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Olympic Sasquatches and Beyond. I'm your host, Matt Parrish, and I have my co-host here again with me tonight, Edge. How you doing, Edge?
Oh, Matt, I'm doing so awesome. Thank you again to have me back here.
Oh yeah. So what's going on new with you? What's going on with Expedition Edge? What can we expect coming out?
What a blessing it is to live up here in the Northern Olympic Peninsula where it is just jam packed of animals. I think there's so many Sasquatches up here. So, right now, I don't know exactly when this video is dropping, but I just started editing a night adventure that you and I just had, an investigation that has got quite a bit of awesome evidence that we came across. Yeah, this one's going to be exciting. I'm pretty excited about editing this one out.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait for the video to drop. I was blown away. I didn't think we caught what we had captured until we started looking at everything this morning. But anyways, it's going to be great. Hey, I forgot to mention it earlier, but what do you think of the new setup I got here, man?
Yeah,
New green
love it.
screen. You
It
can
looks
green
great.
screen. You can green screen everything right now. I even green screen my clothes.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait until that's actually physically built. But yeah, it's looking good, sir.
Yeah, so this is what it'll officially look like once it's done. This is the layout, and we'll get it going. But anyways, so I just want to get into it, man. We've got a awesome. I don't think there is any bigger authority on the subject that we're going to cover tonight. I think he is the ultimate in this field right here. We have Marc Myrsell in the studio with us, and
Oh,
so I'm gonna
yes.
read. I'm gonna read a little bit of his bio here and kind of introduce him. My phone fell asleep on me. That's life, I guess. Let's see. Okay. Marc Myrsell is widely regarded as one of the foremost historians in the field and field researchers connected to the legendary Ape Canyon incident and deep-rooted Sasquatch lore of the Pacific Northwest. Known for his decades of boots-on-the-ground exploration, historical investigations, and relentless pursuit of forgotten evidence, Marc has become a respected voice in the Bigfoot community, blending his historical research with real wilderness experience. A professional land surveyor by trade and a long-time investigator of unexplained phenomena around Mount St. Helens. Marc is best known for rediscovering and documenting the long-lost located of the original Ape Canyon miners' cabin. He actually found this thing. The site tied to the infamous 1924 encounter that helped shape modern Sasquatch legend. His research has taken him deep into remote volcanic terrain, forgotten logging routes, and areas steeped in generations of eyewitness reports. Marc's work extends far beyond Ape Canyon. He has spent years uncovering the hidden history behind mysterious events such as Thompson Flat Monster and the Butcher Town murders. I'm excited to get into those. I've heard a little bit, but I'm excited to see what Marc has to tell us.
Yeah, me
And
too.
numerous unexplained encounters throughout Washington state, combining historical archives, field expeditions, witness interviews, and mapping expertise. He approaches the mystery with a grounded but open-minded perspective and has earned the respect from researchers and skeptics alike. In addition to his work, Marc is also the owner and operator of the Westport Aquarium, where his passion for the unknown, natural history, and Pacific Northwest storytelling continues to inspire visitors from around the world today. For many in the cryptozoology world, Marc Myrsell represents a rare combination of historian, explorer, and storyteller, a man dedicated to preserving the legends, mysteries, and untold history hidden deep within the forests of the Pacific Northwest. And with that, we have Marc Myrsell. Thank you. Welcome to the show.
Matt, did you write that intro?
No, I kind of
Damn!
did my homework. It is a lot.
Holy crap! That
Yeah.
was the best. That was the best intro I've ever received, dude. My goodness.
Wow.
I'm gonna have you write my resume for my next job application, man. That was amazing. Thank you so much. No, that was really good. Also, what Edge was talking about when we were just here, just chatting a couple of minutes ago before we went on, I
Sure.
thought that I thought that was your I thought that was your live office. I didn't realize it was like a green screen.
Yeah.
I thought that was the most badass like
I don't know.
office.
It's pretty good. It's not. I was trying to get the office to show. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. No, it looks great, man.
Yeah. This
Hey,
is.
but no, wait, Matt.
Mhm.
I want to talk about your show. Edge and Matt, what happened last weekend? What are you guys talking about the video that's going to drop about what happened last weekend? Yeah, I want to hear about
So
that.
it actually happened last night,
We're
and
not supposed to. Edge says we're
we
not
will.
supposed to think about it.
So
No,
yeah,
no,
we
no,
will
no.
just say it happened last
By the
night.
time this drops, it'll be about the same time.
All right,
Yeah.
I want to hear what happened.
Actually, you know what? Yeah. We'll just make sure your video drops. Um,
Okay.
we captured something on camera that we didn't see until this morning. We were hearing all kinds of noises, and a lot of times when I go on these expeditions, I just sometimes if I hear noise, I just start snapping pictures, and then later I'll go back and I'll sometimes frame by frame, inch by inch, and just come over it. So this morning I get up and I start looking, because we got back it was like 1 o'clock, and then I had a little bit of homework to do on some of the shows and stuff that so I worked maybe another hour and a half, and I just crashed. And so I got up this morning, I'm looking through my photos, and I'm like, holy smokes. And I'll send you that after the end of the show and show you what we captured. But we also might have captured some really good audio.
I would very much like that. I'd very much like to see it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And we might have actually captured some very good audio. I'm still scanning over it and listening, but we had some really weird noises that I've heard a lot of owls. I've heard a lot of I've heard cougar. I've done my research on cougar. I've listened to countless YouTube videos. I don't know what we heard. It was weird.
I don't know,
It
man.
was it was spine chilling.
It's crazy.
So,
Are,
but yeah,
are you folks? Well, number one, tell me again where you were. Like Olympic Peninsula ish. Is that?
Yeah, we're on the.
we were in between Joyce and Pillars Point. We'll put
Okay,
it
gotcha.
that way.
Okay.
So
Number
112.
two. Right. On number two, are you folks in contact with Chris Spencer and David Ellis by any chance?
I met.
Says yes.
Yeah, I met David Ellis. I haven't talked to Chris Spencer yet.
Okay. I'm going to get preachy through our interview tonight. We all have our specialties. I'm the historical research guy, looking for, the old document evidence and the field evidence that purports that. But there are two premier sound analysts, and number one is Chris Spencer, and number one is David Ellis. Whatever audio you got, I have to tell you, I don't know how to analyze audio, but David and Chris do. And I got to tell you, whatever you got, they'll be interested to listen to what you got, and they'll tell you what they think. And they're invaluable in the Bigfoot research community.
Nice. Yeah,
So whatever you got, send it to Chris and David.
Yeah, I actually met David back in Yakima when we did a conference together, and but prior to that, when I told you a little bit about living in Quinault and stuff, and we had so much, and I would record stuff, and I would send it to. I didn't know who to reach out to at that time. I'm like, because all this is new to me, right? So I love the show Monster Quest. So I was like, and then I seen Doug had a a series coming out. Untold Radio had a show coming out on that. So I was like, you know what? I'll reach out to him, and we started talking. And then he would send stuff to David Ellis, and he would send it back and he'd say, "That's a grouse. That's a this." I'm like, okay, but sometimes stuff would come back and it might be we don't know.
Yeah,
so that was interesting.
You're right, Matt. David Ellis taught me the term suspicious sounds. It is a sound that you pick up on a recording. It's a suspicious sound. It's basically anything other than there's a Bigfoot screaming in your face and you witness it and take a picture and take a video of it. If you don't have that, it's an audio recording. It's just a suspicious sound. But people like David and Chris Spencer are making great progress on analyzing these sounds, and they've taught me so much. I can't do it myself, but they've taught me so much about how to analyze these sounds graphically and otherwise. Until you see that Bigfoot screaming in your face with a camera and get audio evidence as well, they're just suspicious sounds. But it's worth analyzing it. It's worth sticking it into the database, because where we are now in the Bigfoot research community, we are not believers, we're knowers. So we're just adding into that database day by day, sticking that into the database where future generations hopefully can take our database and use that information in the future for Bigfoot research.
Absolutely. And I love that, because there's so much beside from my own personal experiences. There's so much that I've seen from other researchers, like the Olympic project members and different groups, that has kind of helped me in my own research, because I could say, okay, well, that doesn't work, but they do have success with this, so let's try to go this route, and then you don't end up wasting time on something, chasing a bunch of grouse or something like that. I think it was
money on the wrong equipment.
Yeah, I think it was Chris Spencer that when we used to live in Quinault, we would hear occasionally what sounded like singing coming off the north. When the power would go out, we talked about the power outages sometimes, and we would hear something that kind of sounded like something kind of lyrical, but way off in the distance, but up on the mountain, on the ridge. And it was his video, I think, on the Small Town Monsters, where they played a clip, and I was like, that's what we would hear sometimes. So it's things like that, that, because you always wonder, you're like, is anybody else hearing this out there? Like, is this, I don't know, and so it was really cool to hear some of that stuff, some of that audio.
Yeah. With what you talked to me about a few minutes ago, about what you saw coming out of the Ape Cave Road, headed back down to Cougar. That's what Shane Corson taught me, is a term called the confirmation experience, and where you just see what's right in front of you and you can't deny it. And it's like, that is your confirmation experience. And I've just had one, and I got to tell you, it twigs your brain. It is like, holy crap, what the hell is that? And that's, I guess that's what maybe transforms us humans into Bigfoot believers, into Bigfoot knowers. You just saw that, and that's your confirmation experience, and you don't have any other explanation for it.
Yeah. For our viewers, real quick, what he's talking about is that me and my wife, because I haven't talked about it on this podcast, but I've mentioned it on others. And
I'm sorry, Matt. I didn't.
No, you're
stuff.
Good. You're good. But what he so I'll just kind of fill him in real quick. We were up there at the Ape Caves. We're obviously talking to Mark, so we're talking about Ape Canyon tonight, and I was sharing a story with him about me and my wife back in 2021, 2022. I can't remember the exact date. It was the summer. Anyways, we go up to, we're staying at Eagle Cliff, and we just seen the ape caves and climbed through all that. I highly recommend that if you ever get a chance to go. That was a lot of fun. Mount St. Helens in general, the Gifford Penchant. But anyways, so we were staying at Ape Cliff. We're leaving. We're almost to Cougar, and there's a reservoir just outside of Cougar. And on the opposite side of this reservoir, they had just clear cut this road, and there clear cut this section of ridge, and there's a road that goes across it. And as we came up around the corner, I looked and I saw what I initially thought was a black bear standing on two legs, and it turned out that it wasn't, because it started walking, but it walked for some distance before we lost sight of it, and it was walking down the road, and we were coming around the corner, and I said, surely that's not. I told my wife at first I said, I'm trying to speed through the story to get to the good stuff, but I told my wife, I said, oh, look. I said, there's a bear up there. And, but then it started to walk, and I was like, that's not right. I was like, I thought I was looking at the backside, but I realized I'm looking at a side profile of whatever this is. And I couldn't see definition, but yeah. And we both, I think all the way to Cougar almost stayed quiet till we had to get gas, trying to process what we had just seen. And yeah, so I always say that was like my first Sasquatch sighting or encounter.
I'm going to backtrack. Since we're recording, Matt, how long in distance or time did you see this black bear walk?
It was roughly about 20 seconds. Okay. As you're coming around a curve, there's a curve right there, like I said before, with a little bit of a pullover. So you have a really good view for, 20, 30 seconds, and then you're all the way around and it's behind you and you can't see no more.
Okay. Thanks. So, I just wanted to put that on the record, Matt.
No, that's good. But yeah, and so we're on the Ape Canyon. That's your expertise. If you will, kind of tell us a little bit about how you, like, I guess I read somewhere as a small child you got interested in it.
Yeah, I'm looking at your green screen, but I don't see the poster behind you. I'm going to try to give you a quick escalator ride on how I got started with this. I was looking behind you, Matt, to see if you had a poster for Sasquatch Legend of Bigfoot. When I was young, I grew up outside of Portland, Oregon. At the time, a small town named Newberg, Oregon. And when I was 9 years old or so, I remember the Late Show of a rebroadcast of the Sasquatch Legend of Bigfoot. I call it SLOB. For the acronym Sasquatch Legend of Bigfoot. In that movie, there was a small 10 or 15-minute snippet of a recreation of the Ape Canyon incident from 1924. And it was a recreation, schlock drama, as Cliff says, of these miners who were attacked all night long on July 10th, 1924, on their gold mining cabin that they had just built. They had been working this gold mine for a good 2 years. They had built this cabin to hold their stores, hold their tools, so that they keep on working in the gold mine. In July, their cabin was attacked all night long by a band of what they described as mountain devils. Yeah. The term Sasquatch from Burns was coined at that time, but the term Sasquatch had not really gotten down into the purview of everyone knowing the term Sasquatch. I suspect that they did know the term Bigfoot, maybe, but what they described of this band, 6 or 7 of them attacking their cabin, they described them as 6 or 7 feet tall, covered entirely with reddish brown hair and walking upright like a human. These creatures were attacking their cabin. They were trying to beat their way in through the door. The miners took apart their bunks that they had constructed out of fir boughs, bolstered up the door to try to keep them out. They were shooting through the roof. They were building up the fire. They were just, please go away, please go away. Boulders and rocks were beating down the roof. These creatures were coming up on top of the roof. Reporters a week later did see, visiting the cabin, did see that there was something that night digging under the foundation of the cabin, trying to get in. This group of 5 core miners who were there inside the cabin that night on that Thursday were just blockaded in, trying to keep these creatures away. They said that they please, 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 they were singing out and screaming out, please leave us alone. Please leave us alone. We're going to go away in the morning. You go away and everything's going to be fine. This attack onto their cabin happened all night long. Wow. Dawn breaks. Everything's quiet. It must have taken must have taken a lot of courage to unblockade that door and open up the cabin door and look outside. All around their cabin, this is a very limited, very, very limited area for as far as being flat. There were boulders and rocks strewn all over. They found huge footprints. We've just recently received, about 2 years ago, a photo of a footprint taken at the time. There was everything was in all disarray all around the cabin. The miners said, "Let's get the hell out of here." As I always said, grab your guns, grab your tobacco, and let's get back to the truck. The truck was 6 miles away, parked at Spirit Lake.
Wow.
And they have to hike out. While they're hiking out, nobody say anything to anybody. They're going to think we're crazy. They're going to think we're nuts. They get to Spirit Lake, and when they're at Spirit Lake, the first person that they see is a woman named Wilma Welch. Wilma was the wife of Bill Welch, the head ranger at Spirit Lake. And Marion Smith, the patriarch of the mining group, he's about 64 or 65 years old, and he knocks on the door. The rest of the guys get into the truck right away. And so Marion knocks on the door, and there's Wilma. And she's like, yeah, Bill's in the barn. Bill comes out, and Bill Welch, the ranger, had talked to the miners before, and they had encounters with these large hair-covered creatures about a week and a half before. Bill comes out, and Marion says, we got one. We shot them. We shot them, and they fell off the cliff. And Bill says, Marion, well, what'd you get? And Marion says, "We got a mountain devil. We got him. We shot him." And Bill's like, "A mountain devil? You mean a Wolverine?" Because there were Wolverines reported up on Mount St. Helens at that time. It's like, no, a mountain devil. You mean a cougar? No, we got a mountain devil. Okay, Marion, whatever. Marion goes back to join the rest of the guys in the truck, and Bill Welch, the ranger, followed Marion around the head of the truck while Marion's getting into the truck. And Marion reported in 1965 that he looked inside that truck at the other four guys in the back seat, and he said that he had never seen a group of men more scared and white ever in his life. Something had happened to these hardcore guys who had been working a gold mine and had just built a formidable cabin up in the most precipitous slope, most dangerous area ever. And Bill said that he had never seen a group of men more scared in their lives. So the miners get back into Kelso Longview about 8 hours later. I always joke around. The first thing that they did is they went to the bar, the Blue Ox Tavern, and they got a drink, which is what I would do. And word got out. They started talking to the bartender, a guy named Bill Secor. The family of Bill Secor is a good friend of my friend John Pickering. And then word got out. Word got out immediately, and it hit the newspaper. The first time it hit the newspaper was only 48 hours after the attack, and it hit the Longview Daily News.
They had the internet?
Sorry? Oh, yeah, the internet. Yeah, no, it got on the internet. No edge. It really did get on the internet.
Went viral.
We had the Associated Press wire at the time. It was just in its infancy, but it got on the Associated Press wire, and then it spread all over all of the western states. And the most northern newspaper report I've gotten was somewhere around northern Washington or maybe British Columbia. And I found it down in San Diego at the time in July of 1924. And I think I found it in Missouri in 1924, but it just spread like wildfire. And then after that, what happened was known as the Great Ape Hunt of 1924, where everybody was going up to Mount St. Helens to go bag the ape man. I'm going to go bag the mountain devil. And that lasted basically through the rest of the season in 1924.
Wow,
but that's your short elevator escalator ride about Ape Canyon in 1924.
Wow, that's pretty incredible. I had actually, prior to doing these interviews and stuff, I like to do a little bit of homework. And up until recently, I always thought it was just kind of a flimsy cabin. I thought it was just kind of, but you said a minute ago it was a formidable cabin. And that's kind of what I found, that this was actually, this was not something shoddy put together. This is something that these guys were planning on being there for a minute.
I completely agree. The very first photo that I had to work off of was this really, really garbage photo from the Oregonian that was published in July 19th in 1924. And it was a very grainy photo. I'm still trying to find the original photo, the original plates that were taken. But fortunately, 2 years ago, I was able to get in contact with a good friend, Sandy Moyer, and she's the great grandniece of Bill Welch, the ranger. After the attack on July the 10th, there was one more visit with two of the miners, Fred Beck and Leroy Perry Smith, along with rangers, along with other newspaper reporters up to the site. I was able to get in contact with Sandy, and through serendipitous circumstances, and she gave me, to allow for use, these photos that Bill Welch took 1 week after the attack with Fred Beck and Leroy Perry Smith. And these photos were sitting in her family photo album for literally 100 years, and nobody has seen them. Wow. Bill Welch took photos of Fred and Leroy in front of the cabin, and with that scale of these two men in front of the cabin, these logs of the trees that they cut down were 14, 16 inches in diameter. This was a formidable cabin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, Mark, it sounds like it.
Mark, I had a question.
Yes.
So isn't it true that after those visits, then the cabin was kind of lost to history for a while, and then you found it?
Well, thanks. I try to be humble. I think that I found it.
Okay.
So I started on my field trips. I had been researching the whole story for, I don't know, 6-7 years or so, but I started on my field trips in 2011. And there's one thing that I want to reiterate, that how can I say this? Don't go up there.
Yeah.
If you guys want to go with me, maybe I'll take you, but don't go up there. It is incredibly dangerous. The weird thing is that the trail from the south going up there, now today it's called the Ape Canyon Trail. It used to be called the Pine Creek Trail. And that trail location, it's basically in the same location as it was prior to the 1980 eruption, up to Ape Canyon. When you go north of Ape Canyon, the trail is completely changed. When you go up the Ape Canyon Pine Creek Trail, it's obvious that it's still in the same location because you're only going up the Ape Canyon Trail from the parking lot, maybe about a mile. And then suddenly going up the ridge, you are in old growth. You are crossing trees that are 4 and 5 feet in diameter. This is the initial same trail that the miners went in order to locate the Vanderwhite mine and eventually build their cabin, right? So you go up that trail up to the head of Ape Canyon in order to get to where the cabin site is. Off trail, I swear, horizontally, it's only a quarter of a mile horizontally. Wow. But the problem is when you are at the head of Ape Canyon, you have to go down this deep gulch at the bottom of the Plains of Abraham. You have to get up to the top of Pumice Butte, which is about 200 feet, maybe 300 feet. And then you have to go down Pumice Butte about 1,000 feet. And so people have been looking for the Ape Canyon site for many years. It's only 1/4 of a mile off the trail, but it's obvious why the foundation has not been found, because it's so precipitous. You have to go down the Plains of Abraham, up Pumice Butte, down and risking your life where you could easily die to get down to there. So in 2011, I started looking for it, went down a little bit, came back, went down a little bit more, came back, and it was the third weekend of June, I believe, in 2013, where we started to find the foundations of the cabin. Why? Because of that Oregonian photo from 1924. Before I had Sandy Moyer's photo, in the 1924 Oregonian photo, you could see the stumps that were cut down by the miners in order to use those logs, use the trees in order to build the cabin.
Wow.
Stumps can last a very, very, very long time in the woods.
Yeah.
And so I talked to Rick McClure, the head archaeologist at the time for the Gifford Pin Show, and he confirmed with me that slope of Pumice Butte had never been logged commercially because there weren't enough trees to log it, and it's just too dangerous to get logs out there in 1920. So I knew that if I could find stumps down there, rotten stumps, I knew that I would be close because it had never been commercially logged. Mm-hmm. In 2013, I was down there. We found a stump, a rotten stump. We found another rotten stump. We found another rotten stump. I knew I was close. Yeah. Break out the metal detector. We found a wire. We found nails. We eventually found the foundation logs underground, only about 6 inches. We found the foundation logs of the cabin with the nails still driven into the foundation. And that was 2013. So at that point, the mine entrance was pretty elusive. And I had tried many times, risking my life, trying to find the mine entrance. But it wasn't until about 2 years ago that I led the great-grandsons of the youngest of the miners, what I call the Mitchell brothers. It was Jake and Jared and Braden Mitchell. They're the three great-grandsons are the great-grandsons of Leroy Perry Smith. And I gave them directions down there, and I got to say, they found the mine entrance, and it had been lost for, well, basically since 1924.
Yeah.
And they found the mine entrance.
That's freaking cool.
So they found the mine entrance. It only goes in about 12 feet. But I've talked to Rod Beck, Fred Beck's grandson. He said he was in there in the late 60s and it went back about 75 feet. So I'm working with the current archaeologist at Gifford Pin Show in order to dig out about that much of dirt and see if I can squeeze my way in to see how far the mine entrance goes this summer.
Wow. Yeah.
Really cool stuff.
Yeah, we'd if you'd love some company, we'd take you up on it for sure.
Okay, yeah. All right, man.
Oh, we love exploring, and I love that about yours. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Come on down. I'll chime you in when I'm gonna go down there, man.
Oh, cool.
Please do.
Sounds good. That's really incredible, though.
I need people to help me carry rope. I got to tell you.
That's what he's gonna. Yeah, he needs people to pack for him. He's gonna have pictures in his next book of us dying dragging equipment.
I got the water.
Actually, I have to tell you one thing about the dangers of this kind of endeavor. There has been one known confirmed death at Ape Canyon. In the 1970s, 3 guys came from Joint Base Lewis McChord, and there are 3 guys, and they were not doing any kind of like Army or Air Force stuff up there. They were just up there having fun, and there are 3 guys, and the reports from the 2 survivors said that they were up there on the slope right where I was at Ape Canyon, and they heard this scramble, 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 and a scream, and three of them went up, and only two came back. It turned out to be a search and rescue, where one guy just stepped wrong and he fell 200 feet down into the canyon. It's
Wow.
It's incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, I've seen some of the pictures from one of your talks, and you showed the slopes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that stuff is incredibly steep, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible though that you found it. At you're a land surveyor, but so I guess that helped in finding this thing. Yeah, that's incredible. And so you said that one of the boys had been up there around the 60s. So from the 60s up until 2013, it had kind of been lost, or we just knew the general area.
It was the thing about a lot of mining records. Well, thanks, Matt, about the shout out about land surveying on that, because land surveying deals with the document evidence, and we're taking the document evidence. Document evidence are records of, Matt, you divided your property, or you bought and sold property and you had a survey done. And this stuff is recorded in the county. And
Right.
that makes document evidence. Document evidence is what people have said that they did before us. You're going to divide your property, Matt, and here's a 2-inch iron pipe that I set in the ground, and this is how I want to divide my property. 100 years later, I have to come out and I have to find that 2-inch iron pipe that you set in the ground. I have to find the field evidence of what you said that you did on the document evidence. Basically, my research into Ape Canyon is a land surveying exercise, taking the document evidence and comparing it with that 2-inch iron pipe, comparing it with the field evidence. It's sort of archaeology light, honestly. Yeah. And that's what I employed my skills as a land surveyor into Ape Canyon and all of my other crazy Bigfoot research projects as well. Because that's what in the Bigfoot research community, that's what drives me. There are so many old stories, and so many of these old stories show up just as a newspaper headline from 1890 or 1910. And too many people hold this up. It talks about a wild man. It talks about a large hair-covered creature in 1910. Okay, great, whatever. But if you look into that headline, there are people named. There is a location named. In that newspaper report, sometimes the reporter talks about what happened about these individuals in that location encountering this large hair-covered creature. Perhaps there is some sort of scintilla of a physical object left behind that we can still find today. And that's where I employ my skills, because what if there's an old cabin in the woods? What if there's a bent sign bent by allegedly Sasquatch still existing? Finding these physical objects in the ground or wherever they may exist lends credence to the database of Bigfoot research, right? So that's my gig. I want to research these old stories to death, because almost every single one of these old reports deserves a hard second look. and in-depth research to find out who these people were in 1910. Where were they living? What church did they go to? Who are they married to? Are their family members still around that remember the old family stories? Where did this happen? To try to find, hopefully, the old stories and hopefully maybe some sort of physical evidence of what was left behind.
Right.
And that's my contribution, hopefully.
Yeah, and that's why I felt like it was important to bring that up about your land surveying, because I want people to realize, especially like our audience and viewers that are watching this, that will watch this program, you're not just like taking a bunch of newspaper articles. There is a method to it, a science to it, and you have those skills to do that. And like you said, you find tidbits of physical evidence, examples, the pictures and the stumps. So now we have more than just a story. We're actually producing material that supports this story. So I felt like that was important to show people.
I have to say, and this is where I get preachy, Matt and Edge. I swear, everybody. So I'm employing my land surveying skills, and I got to tell you, the accolades that you gave me, Matt, in my introduction were very, very nice. But I got to say, I still consider myself the new guy in the Bigfoot research community. I have met in my brief time, like 10 years or whatever, I have met primatologists, I've met anatomists, I've met so many people who are highly skilled hunters. And they have so much, academically, they're highly skilled, but also I've met people who in experience are highly skilled as well. I swear, these people are very skilled, but they also happen to have an interest in the Bigfoot phenomenon. And they have found a way to employ their skills into their individual research into Sasquatch. Everybody, I don't care if you're a plumber, I don't care if you're a carpentry framer, I don't care if you're an AI guy, I don't care if you're a podcaster, everyone has a certain skill. If you're interested in Sasquatch, that you can employ into your individual projects. And that's what I have found, me being a land surveyor. What does land surveying have anything to do with Bigfoot? But I've been able to use my land surveying skills to employ those skills into the special investigation of the Sasquatch phenomenon. Everyone has those skills, and I think that is the future of Sasquatch research. Too much of the time, for the past 50 years, people have been going out looking, game cameras, photographic cameras, collecting casts, collecting prints, collecting whatever. That's super cool, but everyone's been doing the same thing over and over again for the past 50 years. I think the future of Sasquatch research are those individuals utilizing their highly trained skills and employing that into the Sasquatch phenomenon and researching it. The few times when I have found a print and it's been cast, I don't know anything about podiatry. I don't know anything about cast analysis, but I cast it, and who do I send it to? I used to send it to Dr. Jeff, but now I send it to Cliff Barrickman because I don't know anything about that. And I send it to him because he can see it. When I get a recording, I don't know anything about audio analysis. I send it to Chris Spencer and I send it to David Ellis because they know. When they get a weird historical story, they send it to me because I can research it. So it's all of us working together and providing our input, that's the future of
Yeah.
Bigfoot research.
I love it. I love
And
it.
that's exactly how I try to approach it. You know, my former skills prior to moving here to Washington was as a lieutenant for the state of Texas. And so I approach when we go out into the field, very much from an investigation standpoint and talking to eyewitnesses and talking to people and all the things that I would use in those skills back home. And then that's why I would send like those recordings to Doug, because I was like, I don't know who to contact. Now I know more people. And so, and I absolutely agree. That's the way it's going to be solved. It's going to be a collective. It's not going to be one person right out there going, I've solved the mystery. You know, it's going to be a collective group thing, I believe.
I think Matt, that I tend to, okay. I may be making some of your viewers angry about this, but in this realm of Bigfoot, of course, you two know that as far as what is Sasquatch, it's all over the board. Some people are in camps of a flesh and blood North American wood ape. Okay. The other ones, on the other hand, are I'm okay. I'm going to piss them off. Interdimensional portals, interdimensional portals, mind speak, that kind of thing. Yeah. The thing is that right now, none of us know in empirical evidence what this phenomenon is. We are in the data collection period right now. We have to collect all this data and, like I say, put it into the database. Okay. So I tend to fall into over here the flesh and blood North American wood ape camp. Okay. Yeah. But I do have very good friends who have forest friends, and they do telepathy with them and they communicate with them. I despise the word woo. Woo being, oh my God, you guys are crazy, whatever. When we use the word woo, we are alienating these people that we disagree with. Okay, that's fine. If you want to
cherry pick the data.
Right, exactly. Because even if you disagree with their perspective, I swear there is some sort of spark in the story that they're telling to you of what they observed. And if you discount everything that they say, you are throwing the baby out with the bathwater, because there's something in their encounters, there's something in their story that you need to pay attention to. Even if you are North American wood ape, flesh and blood, there's something there that you need to stick in your brain and consider. You need to listen to them. All of us are trying to work together. I tend to run on the Sesame Street model, you know, with Mr. Hooper and Gordon and Susan and Big Bird, where we're all working together. You know, I feel that I want to invite everyone's perspective into this collective database of what Bigfoot is. I do not think that the three of us are going to live to be able to see empirical evidence of what this phenomenon is. Right now, I just want to do my part and encourage everyone to do their part to add to the database. And so in the future, next generation, maybe they'll be talking about how cool Matt Parrish and Edge and Marc Myrsell were to contribute to this 100 years ago.
Hopefully.
Maybe.
Hopefully we have something that we can contribute significant. You know, that's one of the things we have a wide range of guests on this show that we've already recorded with. And Well, I'll just tell you, we've had everybody from like Ron Moorhead. We just did him, all the way to we did Rich Dermo.
Oh yeah,
Um,
good.
yeah, and his episode will be coming out this Friday,
Okay,
in 2 days.
cool.
So I gotta get on that. But
Yeah, come on, Matt. Come on,
yeah,
dude.
but I got all the promo stuff for it. But and so we have a wide view of people, and we try to include everybody because I'm a firm believer that you can't cherry pick the data just because you don't like it. This doesn't fit within the parameters of what you believe. I can
Yep.
tell you. So I never experienced anything like Mind Week, Mind Speak, or portals or stuff, but we did have stuff happen in Quinault that I haven't talked about publicly because I don't have an explanation for it. But I do hear some people say things, and I'm like, okay, maybe they know something, maybe they did experience something, because that's kind of similar. But um, for me, I don't know, what it is. I think it's kind of premature. I have a feeling. Um, just based off of my experiences, right? But um, you got to take it all. You can't just cherry pick things because you don't like or they don't fit the parameters. So it's very refreshing to hear somebody like you say that, because I know you say you're new to this, but you have risen and become somewhat of an authority figure in this field. You know,
Um, it's only because, well,
you have
Matt,
a
thank
vast
you.
knowledge.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sort of in the catbird seat, frankly. I was just talking with a friend about that. I've always felt like I'm in the catbird seat because I'm just a land surveyor, history nerd, and there are very few people who are going back and looking at these old stories. Lyle Blackburn with Boggy Creek, yeah, Lyle Blackburn is the Boggy Creek guy. I'm
Yeah.
the Ape Canyon guy. But there are very few people who are looking at really, really hard, taking a hard second look at these historical stories. I have 5 or 6 more historical projects that I'm working on right now as far as Bigfoot goes. But that's where I kind of disagree with you, Matt, sort of, as far as your kind accolades. But I think that
Well,
you may only say that because there are very few history nerds out there as far as Bigfoot
well,
goes. I've just delved into it the way that I would do it.
yeah. I'm just a nerdy lieutenant from Texas that had an experience, so don't underscore don't undersell yourself. You've done some remarkable
Thanks.
things, even from just your knowledge. You have incredible, and then you went out and you did something that nobody's been able to do in quite some time. So that's pretty remarkable. You're the only one that I think you're the only one that has found it since it's been lost, right?
Well,
Um,
yeah, I know. I mean, as you were talking about, you were wanting to talk about Thompson Flat. I don't know how much time we have,
I
but
do want to get into that. I want to move.
the,
Move.
the thing is, I to backtrack really, really quickly. Is that I swear? Okay, Matt, you're a lieutenant from Texas, right?
Yeah.
You're a law enforcement officer, right? There is everything. I swear to God, I don't need to tell you, Matt. You and I, the three of us, leave an amazing amount of public record behind us today, and then certainly when we die. There is an amazing amount of stuff that a law enforcement can find out about an individual. Um, and I don't mean to pull rank, Matt, but a land surveyor can find out a lot about an individual going into the
Yeah.
public record. We leave so much, the three of us leave so much behind in the public record that tells future generations everything about us.
Yeah.
So as far as Ape Canyon, Thompson Flat, whatever, everything that I do as a land surveyor or in Bigfoot research is all about the public record that those individuals have left behind. Those things, Ape Canyon has been sitting there forever. And I swear to God, Ape Canyon Cabin, where it is, where the mine is, has been sitting there in public record for decades.
Just been waiting.
And
Wait for Mark.
someone just needs to go into the public record and find it.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Thompson Flat, someone just needs to go into the public record and find it. A law enforcement officer, a land surveyor, someone. It's there for anybody just to put the puzzle pieces together for every single story. It's just there to put the puzzle pieces together and then go out into the woods and find that old story.
Yeah.
I swear to God, it's there.
Yeah.
It's not the,
it's
not
incredible
the
still.
deal. Anybody can do it, really.
Yeah. I do want to move on. You said you mentioned the Thompson Flat, but I wanted to make one quick correction. Because I don't want to offend anybody back home. I work for the Department of Corrections as a lieutenant for the state of Texas.
Oh, okay.
Back home, that's not considered law enforcement. Here, they give us a peace officer. So it's, I guess it.